When I was young,
When I
my
was
family
young,
lived
my
overseas.
family lived
I lived in
overseas.
Indonesia
I
for a
lived
few
in
years.
Indonesia for a
And
few
my
years.
mother,
And my
she didn't have
mother,
the money to
she
send
didn't have
me
the
where
money
all
to
the
send
American
me
kids
where all
went
the
to school.
American kids
But she
went to
thought it was
school.
important for
But she
me
thought it
to
was
keep up
important for me to
with
keep up
an
with
American education. So she
an
decided
American
to teach
education,
me
so she decided to
extra
teach me
lessons
extra
herself,
lessons herself,
Monday through Friday.
Monday
But
through
because she had to go to
Friday.
work,
But
the
because
only
she
time
had to
she could
go
do it
work,
was
the
at
only time she
4:30
could
in the
do it
morning.
was at
But
4:30 in the
whenever I'd
morning.
complain, my
But
mother would
whenever I
just give me
complained,
one
my
of those
mother would
looks and
just give
she'd
me one
say,
of those looks and
"This
she'd
is no
say,
picnic for me
"This
either,
is no
Buster."
picnic for me either, Buster."
So I know that some of you are
So I
still
know that some of
adjusting
you are still
to being back at
adjusting
school,
to
but I'm
being
here
back at
today
school, but I'm
because
here today
I have
because
something
I have
important to
something
discuss with you.
important to discuss with you.
My father left my
My
family when I
father
was two
left my
years old,
family when I was 2 years
and I
old,
was raised by a
and I
single
was
mom who had
raised
to
by a
work
single mom who
and who
had to work,
struggled at times to
and
pay
who
the bills and
struggled at
wasn't
times
always
to
able
pay
to give us
bills and
the
wasn't
things that other kids had.
always able to give her the
There
things
were
that other
times when I
kids had.
missed
There were
having a
times
father
when
in
I
my life.
missed having a father in
There were
my life.
times when I was
There
lonely
were
and I felt
times when
like I
I
didn't
was
fit in.
lonely and I felt like I didn't
So
fit
I
in.
wasn't always as focused as I
So
should
I
have been
wasn't
on school.
always
And I did some things that I'm
as
not
should be
proud
in
of. And I
school,
got
and I did
in more
something,
trouble than I
and I
should
got
have.
more trouble than I
And
should
my
have.
life
And
could
my
have easily
life
taken a turn for
could
the
have
worse.
easily taken a turn for the
But I
worst.
was lucky.
But I was lucky.
I got a lot of second
I got
chances,
a lot
and
of
I had the opportunity to
second
go to
chances,
college and
and I
law
had the
school and follow
opportunity
my
to go
dreams.
to college, law school, and follow my
And my
dreams.
wife, our First Lady,
My
Michelle
wife, our
Obama,
First
she
Lady,
has a
Michelle
similar
Obama,
story.
she has a
Neither
similar
of her
story.
parents
Neither
had
of
gone to
her
college,
parents had
and
gone
they
to
didn't have a lot of
college,
money.
and they didn't have a lot
But
of
they
money.
worked hard, and
But they
she
worked
worked hard so
hard,
that
and
she
she
could go
worked
to the
hard
best
so that she
schools
could
in this
go to
country.
best schools in this country.
Some of you might not have those
But some of you
advantages.
might
Maybe
not
you
have
don't
those
have
advantages. Maybe
adults in
you
your
don't
life
have adults in your
who give you
life
the support that you need.
who give you the support that you
Maybe
need.
someone in your family has
Maybe
lost their
someone in your
job and there's
family
not enough
has
money
lost
to
a
go
job
around.
and there's not enough money
Maybe
to
you
go
live in a
around.
neighborhood
Maybe
where you
you
don't
live in
feel
a
safe,
neighborhood where you don't
or
feel
have
safe,
friends who are
or
pressuring you
have
to do
friends who
things
are pressuring
you
you
know
to
aren't
do
right.
things you know aren't
Maybe you
right.
could be a
Maybe you
great
could be
writer,
a great
maybe
writer.
even good enough to write a book,
Maybe even good enough to write a
articles
book
in a
or
newspaper, but you
articles
might
in a
not know it
newspaper, but you
until you write
might
that
not know
English
it
paper,
until you write that English paper,
that English class paper that's
that
assigned
English
to you.
class paper that's assigned to you.
Maybe you could be an
Maybe you
innovator or
could
an
be an
inventor, maybe
innovator,
even good
an
enough to come up
inventor,
with the
maybe
next
even
iPhone
good
or the
enough to
new
come up with
medicine
the
or
next
vaccine,
iPhone or the new
but you
medicine or
might
vaccine.
not know it
But you
until you
might
do your
not know it
project for your science
until you do
class.
your project for a science class.
Maybe you could be
Maybe
a
you could
mayor
be a
or a
mayor
senator or a
or a
Supreme Court
senator or
justice,
Supreme Court
but you might not
justice.
know that
But you
until
might
you
not
join
know that
student
until you
government
join
or the
student
debate team.
government or the debate team.
And no matter what you want to
And
do
no
with
matter
your life,
what you
I
want to do with
guarantee
your
that
life,
you'll
I
need an
guarantee
education to
you
do it.
need an education to
You
do
want
it.
to be a doctor or
You
a
want to be a
teacher or a
doctor
police
or a
officer?
teacher or a police
You want to be a
officer.
nurse or an
You want to
architect,
be a
a
nurse
lawyer
or
or
an
a member of
architect,
our
a
military?
lawyer, a member
You're
of
going to
our
need a good
military.
education
You're gonna
for
need
every
a
single
good
one of those
education for every
careers.
single one of those careers.
You cannot drop
You
out of
cannot
school
drop
and
out of
just drop
school
into a
and
good
just
job.
drop into a good job.
You've got to train for it
You've got to
and
train
work
for it
for it
and
and
work
learn
for
for
it
it.
and learn for it.
And this isn't just important
And
for
this
your own
is
life and
just
your own future.
important for your own life and your future.
What you make of your
What
education
you
will
make of
decide
your
nothing less
education
than
will
the
decide
future
nothing
of this
less
country.
than the future of
The
this
future of
country.
America
The future of
depends on you.
America depends on you.
What you're learning in school today will
What you're
determine
learning in
whether
school
we
today will
as a
determine
nation
whether
can meet
we as a
our
nation can meet
greatest
our
challenges
greatest
in the future.
challenges in the future.
You'll need the knowledge and
You'll need
problem-solving
knowledge
skills
and problem
you learn in
solving
science
skills.
and
You
math
learn
to cure
science and
diseases
math
like
to
cancer
cure
and AIDS,
diseases
and to
like
develop new
cancer and
energy
AIDS, to
technologies to
develop
protect
new
our
energy
environment.
developments and
You'll
protect
need
our
the insights and
environment.
critical thinking skills
You'll need
you gain in
insights and
history and
critical
social
thinking
studies
skill you
to
gain in
fight
history
poverty
and
and
social study
homelessness,
to fight
crime and
poverty and
discrimination,
homelessness,
and make
crime
our
and
nation more
discrimination,
fair and more
and make
free.
our nation more fair and more free.
You'll need the creativity and
You'll need the
ingenuity you develop
creativity,
in all your classes to
ingenuity.
build new
You develop
companies
all
that will
classes
create
to
new
build new
jobs and
companies
boost
that
our
will create
economy.
new jobs and boost
We need
our
every single
economy.
one of you to
We
develop your
need every
talents
single
and
one
your
of you to
skills and your
develop your
intellect
intellect
so
and
you
your
can
skill
help
so you
us
can
old
help
folks
us old
solve
folks solve
our most difficult
our
problems.
most difficult problems.
If you don't do that,
If you don't do
if you
that,
quit on on school,
If you
you're
quit
not
on
just quitting
school,
on yourself, you're quitting on
you're
your
not just
country.
quitting on yourself, you're quitting on our
I
country.
know it's not always easy to do
Now,
well
I
in
know
school.
it's not always to do
I
well
know
in
a lot of
school.
you have
I
challenges in
know a
your
lot of you
lives
have
right now
challenges in your life
that
right
can make it
now
hard to focus
that
on your
can make it
schoolwork.
hard to focus on your schoolwork.
I get it. I know what it's
I
like.
get it. I know what it's like.
But at the end of the day,
But at the end of the
the
day,
circumstances of your life,
the
what you look
circumstances
like,
of
where
your
you
life,
come from, how
what
much
you look
money
like,
you
where you
have,
have from,
what you've got going
how
on at
many you
home,
have,
None of that is an excuse for
None
neglecting
of
your
that is
homework
an
or having a
excuse
bad
for
attitude in
neglecting
school.
school or having bad attitude
That's
in
no
school.
excuse for
There's
talking
no
back to your
excuse for
teacher or
talking back
cutting
to your
class or
teacher or
dropping out
cutting
of school.
class or dropping
There
out of
is no
school.
excuse
There's no
for
excuse
not trying.
for not trying.
Where you are right now doesn't
Where
have
you
to
right
determine
now
where
doesn't
you'll
have
end
to
up.
determine where
No
you
one's
end up.
written your destiny
No
for
one's
you.
written your
Because here in
destiny for you.
America,
Because
you write
here
your
in
own
America,
destiny.
you write your own
You make
destiny.
your own future.
You make your own future.
That's what young people like
That's
you
what
are
young
doing
people
every
like you are
day
doing
all
every
across
day,
America.
all across America.
That's why today I'm calling on
That's
each
why
of you to
today I'm
set your
calling
own
on
goals
each of
for
you
your
to set your
education
own goals
and
for
do
your
everything you
education
can to meet them.
and do everything you can to meet
Your
them.
goal can be something as
Your goal
simple
can
as
be something
doing
as
all your
simple
homework,
as doing your
paying
homework,
attention in class, or
pay
spending
attention in
some
class, or spend some time each day
reading a book.
reading a book.
Maybe you'll decide to get involved in an
Maybe you'll
extracurricular
decide to get
activity or
involved in
volunteer in your community.
extracurricular activity or volunteer
Maybe
in
you'll
your
decide to
community.
stand up for
Maybe you'll
kids who are
decide
being
to stand up
teased
for
or
kids who are
bullied
being teased
because
or
of who they
bullied
are or
because
how
of
they
who
look.
they are or how they
Because you
look.
believe, like I do,
Because you
that
believe, like I
all
do,
young
that
people
all
deserve a
young
safe
people
environment to
deserve
study
a
and learn.
safe environment to study
Maybe
and
you'll
learn.
decide to take better care
Maybe
of
you
yourself so you
decide to
can
take better,
be more ready
take
to
care
learn.
better of yourself
But
so
whatever
you
you
can be more
resolve
ready.
to do,
But whatever
want you
you
to
resolve
commit
to
to
do, I want you to
I want
commit
you to
to
really
it.
work at it.
I want you to really work at it.
I know that sometimes you get that sense from
I know
TV
that sometimes you get a
be
sense
rich
from
and
TV
successful
that you
without
can
any
be
hard
rich
work.
and successful
That your
without any
ticket to
hard work.
success is through
That
rapping
your ticket to
basketball
success or
being a
basketball or
reality
being a
TV
reality TV star,
chances are you're not going to be any of
chances
those
are
things.
you're not going to be any of those
The
things.
truth is, being
The truth is,
successful
being
is hard.
successful is hard.
You won't love every
You won't
subject that you study.
love every subject that you
You
study.
won't click with
You
every
won't
teacher
click
that
every
you have.
teacher that you have.
Not every homework
Not
assignment
every homework
will seem
assignment
completely
will seem
relevant
completely
to your life
relevant to
right
your
at
life
this minute.
right at this minute.
And you won't necessarily
And you won't
succeed at everything the first time you try.
succeed the first time you
That's
try.
okay.
That's okay.
Some of the most successful people
Some
in
of
the
the
world
most
are the
successful
ones
people
who've
in
had
the world
most
are the ones who
failures.
have had the most failures.
J.K. Rowling's,
J.K. Rowling, who
who
wrote
wrote Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Her first Harry Potter book was
Her
rejected
first Harry Potter book was
12
rejected
times
12 times before
finally
it was finally published.
published. Michael Jordan was cut
Michael
from his high school
Jordan was cut
basketball
from
team.
his high school basketball team.
He lost hundreds of
He
games
lost
and
hundreds
missed
of games
thousands
and
of
missed
shots
thousands of shots during his career. But he
"I have
once
failed
said,
over and
I
over
have
and
failed
over
over
again in
and
my
over
life,
and over again in
and
my
that's
life,
why I succeed."
and that's why I succeed.
These people succeeded because
These
they
people succeeded because they
that
understood
you
that
can't let your
you
failures
can't let your failures
define
define
you.
you. You have to let your failures
teach you.
teach you.
You have to let them show you.
You have to let
what
them
do
show
differently
you
the
what
next
to do
time.
differently the next time.
So if you get into trouble,
So if you get
that
into
doesn't mean you're a
trouble,
troublemaker.
that doesn't mean you are
It
a
means you
troublemaker.
need to try harder.
It means you need to try
act
harder
right.
to act right.
If you get a bad grade, that doesn't mean
If you
you're
get a
stupid.
bad grade,
It
that
just
doesn't
means you
mean
need
you're
to spend
stupid.
more
It
time
just means you
studying.
need to spend more time studying.
No one's born
No
being
one's
good
born being
at all
good
things.
at all
You
things.
become
You
good
become
at
good
things through
at
hard
things
work.
through hard work.
You're not a varsity athlete the
You're
first
not a
time you play a new
varsity
sport.
athlete the first time you
don't
play
hit
a
every
new
note
sport.
the
You
first
don't
time you
hit
sing
every
a
note
song.
the first time
You've
you
got
sing
to
a song.
practice.
You've got
The
to
same
practice.
principle
The
applies
same
to
principle
school.
applies to schoolwork.
You might have to do a math
You might
problem
have
a
to
few
do the
times
math
before you get it
problem
right.
a few
You
times
might have
before
to
you get
read
it
something
right.
a few
You
times
might have
before
to
you
read something a
understand
few
it.
times before you
You
understand
definitely
it.
have to do a few
You
drafts
definitely
of
have
a
to do
paper
a few drafts
before it's good
of
enough to
paper
hand in.
before it's good enough to hand in.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Don't be afraid to ask
Don't be
questions.
afraid to ask
Don't
for
be
help when
afraid
you
to
need
ask
it.
for
I do
help
that
when you
every
need
day.
it. I do that every day.
Asking for help isn't a sign of
Asking
weakness,
for
it's a
help
sign of
isn't a sign of
strength.
weakness, it's a sign
Because
of
it shows you have the
strength.
courage to admit
Because it
when you
shows you
don't know
have
something,
to admit
and
that you
that then
don't know
allows you to
something,
learn something
and
new.
that allows you to learn
So
something
find an
new.
adult that you trust.
So find an
Parent, a
adult to
grandparent,
trust,
or
a
teacher,
parent,
a
a
coach,
grandparent, or a teacher, a
counselor,
coach, or a
and ask them to
counselor,
help you stay
and
on
ask
track
them
to
to help
meet
you
your
stay on
goals.
track to meet your goals.
And even when you're struggling,
And even when you're
discouraged,
struggling, even when
feel
you're
like
discouraged,
other people
you
have
feel
given
like
up
other
on
people
you,
have given up on you.
don't ever give up on yourself.
Don't ever give up on
Because
yourself.
when you give up on yourself, you give
Because
up on
when
your
you give
country.
up on yourself, you give up on your
The
country.
story of America isn't
The
about
story
people
of
who quit
America
when
isn't
things
about
got
people
tough.
who quit when
It's
things
about
got
people who
tough.
kept going,
It's
who
about
tried
people who
harder,
kept
who
going,
loved
who
their
tried
country too
harder,
much,
who loved their
to do
country too
anything less
much,
than their best.
to do anything less than their
It's the
best.
story of students who
It's the
sat
story of
where
student
you
who
sit
sat
250
where you
years
sit
ago,
20
went on to wage a
250
revolution,
years
and they
ago
founded
and went
this nation.
and they
Young
founded
people.
this nation, young people.
Students who sat where you sit
Student who
75
sat
years
where
ago,
you
who
sit
overcame
75 years
depression
ago,
and won a world
who
war,
overcame depression and
who
won
fought for
World
civil
War,
rights and put a
who
man on
fought
the moon.
civil rights and put a man on
Students
the
who
moon.
sat where you sit
Student
20
who
years
sat
ago,
where you
who
sit 20
founded
years
Google
ago,
and Twitter
who
and
founded
Facebook,
Google, Twitter,
and changed
and
the way we
Facebook,
communicate
and
with each
changed the
other.
way we communicate
So
with
today, I want to
each
ask
other.
all of you,
So today I want to ask
what's
all
your
of you,
contribution going to be?
what's your contribution
What problems
going
are
to
you
be?
going to solve?
What problems are you going to
What
solve?
discoveries will
What
we make?
discovery will you make?
What will a president who comes here
What
in
will
20
a
or
president
50
who
or 100
comes here
years say
20
about what all
or
of you did for
50
this
or
country?
100 years say did for this
Now,
economy?
your families, your teachers,
Now your
and I are
family,
doing
your
everything we
teachers,
can
and
to
I
make
are
sure
doing
you have
everything
the
we can to
education
make
you
sure
need
you have the
to answer these
education
questions.
you need to answer these
I'm
questions.
working hard to fix up your classrooms
I'm working
and
hard
get
to
you the
fix
books
up your
and the equipment
classroom
and
and
the
get
computers
you
you need to learn.
books and the computer you need
But
to
you've got to
learn.
do your part too.
But you got to do your part
So I
too.
expect all of
So I
you
expect you
to
all
get serious this
to
year.
get serious this year.
I expect you to put your
I
best
expect you to
effort
put your best
into everything you
effort
do.
into everything you
I
do.
expect great
I
things
expect
from
great
each of
things
you.
from each of you.
So don't let us down.
So don't let us
Don't let your
down.
family down or your
Don't let your
country
family
down.
down
Most
or
of
your
all,
country
don't let
down.
yourself down.
Most of all, don't let yourself down.
Make us all proud.
Make us all proud.